What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going down? I want to check and welcome to another episode of Super Black Comic Book Reviews by Jonathan Soul. Now, I got a fantastic children's book that I want to introduce to y'all today. In my comments, sorry, in my comments, hold on. It's the morning voice, y'all. All right. In my comments, every now and then, or through the grapevine, I hear about parents or teachers who are interested in children's books. Most of the comics that I review, I'll tell you, hey, I think this is appropriate for children. To me, children is like elementary school age kind of thing. And then you got the elementary school, middle school, and then you got the teenagers to adults. So this is definitely a children's book. It's Broken Glass by Greg Burnham. Now, Greg Burnham is part of the super dynamic duo of him and Marcus Williams. Of course, they created Tuskegee Heirs. Which I have. Let's see. It's to be in alphabetical order. No, it's Power Knights, Scorpio, Hotshot, Trill League. Where the hell? Okay. I had my singles, but I think I gave them all away. So anyway, so they created this. This is Tuskegee Heirs. You know, obviously it's a play and a homage. Good gracious alive. Sorry about that, y'all. This coffee been sitting on my desk all night. Sorry about that. I'm gonna listen to it if it's bullshit, if it's foolishness. I record it over. But anyway, these guys created this compilation. I think it's issues 1 through 4. Definitely, I know 1 through 3. And of course, everything is beautiful. Children doing exploration, and they got the planes that they pilot that turn into Gundams. Well, I think before that, or around the same time, Greg Burnham created a series of children's books. I review one today, Broken Glass. I got the other one called Grandpa's Shoes, with the art is obviously gorgeous. All right, let's get into it. Obviously, I recommend this for children. I think you should have this in your life. Okay, then, let's see. All right, got this. See, I got the camera mic mighty close. All right, Broken Glass. Now, have I ever broken a window before? No, but I broken a television set. One time, how I did it, I don't know. I think I broke a television set. Anyway, my cousin and I were playing. We were, you know, kindergarten age or whatever. And I was the bull, and my cousin was the matador. And I guess she had a pillow sheet or pillowcase or something, and she did it. And I ran at her, and she moved it, and I crashed right into the television. I think it was a VCA TV, giving away my age a little bit. And in my mind, I broke the television. But what really happened was I broke my forehead, and at 52 years old, I still got the scar to this day. And I did that when I was in elementary school. So, children, if you're listening, 1, pardon my foul language. 2, do not charge at a TV. Well, actually, nowadays, you could probably get away with it because everything is plastic. No, don't charge the television. Okay, let's get into it. All right, then, so, our hero, what's the little man's name here? Did we ever get his name? I don't remember getting his name. Anyway, so he obviously has done something that he's going to get in trouble for. He broke the window. Now, one thing I love about this book, I didn't catch it at first until I got to like page 2 or 3, that Greg is rhyming. And it's like, that's what you do, yo. You know, kids, I think kids like the little rhyme. At least if the kids don't, the adults do. Quiet as it's kept. I've really done it this time. Looks like there's no way out. Now I know why mommy says, don't throw that ball inside my house. That's cute. I'll surely be punished. Here's where it all ends. Locked inside this house forever. Probably lose all my friends. Okay. Old man flashback. When I was in elementary school, every Friday, Mrs. Warren, and I still remember her name and vaguely her face to this day. Mrs. Warren would sit down, all the kids, you know how you sit on the carpet in a circle or whatever. She had that little chair, and she would read to us a couple of chapters. She would read to us for about an hour. At least it seemed like an hour. As a kid, it probably 10 minutes. But she would read to us from A Wrinkle in Time. A Wrinkle in Time, you know that book written by, because I don't remember. And recently a movie was made by Ava DuVernay. I remember them dimples. Good gracious alive. But anyway, yeah, she would read to us. Now, when my children were little, I would read to them, but I was on a different vibration. So I read to them Garvey, and I read to them like Philosophies and Opinions, and I read to them, you know, like the Egyptian Hotep type shit. You know what I mean? I was finding myself kind of vibration back then. So you know, but at least they was read to. You know what I mean? And of course, I read some comics once they came out the womb. But yeah, so anyway, so my man broke the window, and he's trying to figure out what to do. First, he's thinking about all the bad stuff that's going to happen to him. And you know, this is how we learn. You know what I mean? This is how we learn. This is how we learn. All right, let's see here. And the other thing about youth is, even when you in your 20s, whatever circumstance you in, whether it feels good or feels bad, you think it's going to last forever. Oh, I done fucked up my such and such. Oh, I'll never get out of this. I got fired, or I, you know, whatever. Or I'm in love. Oh, cue the harps. Oh, we'll be together forever. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. It's like, and what you realize is that it's about a journey, not a destination. You know what I mean? It's about a journey. It's about a journey, not a destination. All right, so my man's in them. He's worrying about all the stress. Now I love this page. Daddy will take away my video games, and look at little sister piling on. Ain't that nothing? And now say goodbye to all the fun. I can hear his voice while he walks away. I'm disappointed in you, son. Now I had to do that one time, and that shit was painful. I feel the pain right now talking about it. My beloved son was he was fucking up in school. You know, this is elementary school. And looking back on it, I realized that, you know, it was very difficult, you know, school environment for him. You know, the teachers probably weren't very supportive. I know the principal was a racist bastard. And he went through a lot of stress in that school. Looking back, I wish I would have sat down and talked to him and tried to get inside of his head. Now, when I say looking back, he was 12 around this time. I wish I would have sat down and talked with him and got, you know, but I got the call from the ex-wife, you know what I mean? And, you know, when you get that call, you know, for a father, it's like, oh, shit, I don't want my son to become a juvenile delinquent. You know what I mean? Like the alarm bells go off. And so you bring the hammer. And I never liked spanking the kids, even though I did a little bit. And you can't see the air quotes. Hold on, let me remember that. Air quotes. I spanked my kids. But what I did was, I was too soft. I was too much of a softie to tap them on the behind. You know, I think I might have did it once or twice. That hurt me more than it hurt them. So I would put your hand out, and I would smack the hand, and I would use a belt. And because I heard someplace that, especially with girls, you never want to raise your hand and they jump. You know what I mean, kind of a thing. And so I did that. And so then the way it worked out, I ended up making them do push-ups. I just couldn't stand spanking them anymore. I was like, this is some slavery shit from back in the day. And I remember one time, I picked up my cousin's kid, and we were all traveling together someplace, I don't know, going to the park or whatever. And she wouldn't do what I asked her to do. It was something small, move over or something, I don't know, some silly shit. And I was at the gas station, and I made all of them do push-ups at the gas station. And I would, you know, I'm not doing, I would say, now, push up now. She just tell us not to do push-ups, you know what I'm saying? So to me, I like doing the push-ups thing, because when my son was a kid, the timeout didn't do nothing. He's acting bad. This is a 2-year-old, right? Doing crazy, you know, doing stuff 2-year-old's supposed to do, exploring the world. You know, I was 25 back then. Yeah, 25, I think. And I didn't know how to handle. See, they come out with no instructions. That's what they don't tell you. When children come out, you turn them over, there's no instructions. You know, now you got what your parents did, but you're trying to do better than your parents because, you know, you thought you knew when you was younger as a kid, you thought you knew everything and you thought I can do better than my parents. But when you get the kid in the hand, whatever your parents did is the baseline. And so that's why I was spanking, you know, at first. And I'm glad I had the boy first because he was like my practice baby. You know what I'm saying? He was my practice baby. Oh God, he was tough. But anyway, getting back to the thing. So he was messing up, 12 years old. And I didn't hit him or anything like that. I just took all his toys and put them in a bag and I threw them in the trash. And my son really loved his robots. I even made a song, you know, about robots. Did he have a PlayStation? He didn't have a PlayStation. But he cries the first time I seen him cry. And when he cried, I was crying on the inside, but I kept a gangster, you know, because, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. But I cried later. So I think what I'm trying to say is when they little, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you before they speak English. I don't know what to tell you, yo. All I can tell you is that on average, you will get a better, I hate to say it like this, you'll get a better performance out of your kid if you spend a lot of time with them. It's what I call lap time, okay? Lap time. Meaning you sit down with them and you talk to them. You play with them. When they're teeny babies, that's easy. But once they get to school age, you know, folk get busy. You want to sit them in front of a TV or give them a video game, bullshit or whatever. Yeah, don't do that shit. They don't need all that shit. All they need is empty boxes, boys and girls. Girls need dolls and empty boxes, okay? Boys need robots and dinosaurs and empty boxes. The empty boxes is just for the imagination. And leave it to them. They're going to take if you wore, like I wore suspenders back in the day, they take my suspenders out the closet and they string them up and they make a line like a rope and then they hang it. I mean, they build things. They built the most amazing stuff with the little bit of toys I could afford to give them and empty boxes and pots and pans and things. That's what they need because it's not about the toys, it's about the imagination. When you give them a video game with the PlayStation, the PlayStation 4 or 3 graphics is better than real life. You know what I'm saying? I was like, goddamn. And so their imagination is kind of art. It's like they using somebody else's imagination at that point. When you give them an empty motherfucking box, now the little bit of life they've lived, they take in that and it becomes and this is what really happens in your subconscious. Everything in your environment becomes a word, becomes a symbol. And they dig into that vocabulary, that palette, and they start painting with the toys and the boxes that you give them and a little bit of dolls, you know, kind of a thing. And so I love being a parent, you know. The only thing I had a problem with was they grew up too damn fast. 1 minute you burping them and they're throwing up on your shoulder. The next minute you got to pick them up from the airport. That's how fast it's gone. So anyway, what were you talking about? I forget. Anyway, so the father thing, so the father taking away his toys. Yeah, so that's it. You know what I mean? Try not to beat the kids if you can. And the reward system is important. I was a teacher for a year, and so I'm not arrogant enough to think that I can give advice to any teachers. But I can tell you an interesting story. When I was a teacher back in Philadelphia at a small charter school whose name I can't remember, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just looking for work. And so I did have some experience with computers because I was a graphic designer for many years. And I went to school for art. You know, my bachelor's degree is in graphic design. And I'm doing servers and firewalls now, which is hilarious. But anyway, so I sold myself as a teacher on technology and art. So that's your class. Bam. I ain't get no materials, no curriculum, nothing. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I used to get the Source magazine. Source magazine, for y'all don't know, used to be a magazine that reviewed hip hop, you know, the culture and the music and the whole bit. And there was a teacher in New York City in one of the boroughs, begins with a B, so it has to be Brooklyn or the Bronx, right? And what he did was he would use hip hop to he would use like beats, and he would take his lessons and maybe make it a rhyme or something, and they help the kids. So I'll try to speed this up. So long story short is, I had a computer class. I was trying to teach them basic vocabulary. The internet or computers connected together, you know, CPU, you know, whatever the word was. And so I had like, so the bad kids, meaning there are no bad kids. Well, that's not the truth. I'm sure there are kids that are born with trauma and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, the kids who wouldn't do any work and just socialize the whole time, or prone to, you know, mischievous behavior, those kids wouldn't take the test. The Midland kids, you know, just the kind of kids in the middle, they would take it and get like a C. And then the really studious kids would take the test and get a B, and maybe nobody got A's. All right, so wouldn't take it, C's and B's. Okay, fine. So I have a philosophy, and I don't know if I originated it, but I think what I came up with was, if the whole class is failing, it's the teacher's fault. Meaning, if the majority of the kids are failing, it's the teacher's fault. If the minority, a small group of kids are failing, it's the home's fault, so to speak. You know, it's the student's fault, you know, kind of a thing. So long story short, I think it was worse than that. It was like the kids who didn't take the test, they would not take it or get a D. The other kids would get C's and the other kids would get B's. And it was a very small number. So I felt like I was fucking up. So I remember reading an article. So I took my vocabulary word and I wrote into a rhyme, and I found Black Rob. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this guy. He was on Bad Boys for a while. He did a song called Whoa. Something, something, something like whoa. Something, something, something else like whoa. And so I did that. I wrote, you know, a network is computers connected over a wire like whoa. Something like that. And so when I play, and this is cassette tape, okay? So you know this is like 90 something. And I recorded it off someplace, you know what I mean? So I'm bringing a set. Hold on for a second. I'm having these moments. Hold on. So I guess we turning this comic book review or this children's book review into show and tell. Forgive me for you guys who are not hip to this. I had one of these, fam. I had one of these. And this is the way this worked. So this is a cassette tape. And so I'll record it. And then, you know, you pop it in there. And then you hit play. I don't know what's on here. I got to be careful. Let me see. Now, I bought this from Radio Shack like last year. That's my daughter tripping. All right. So anyway, so I would record something like whoa, and so the result is that everybody went up a grade. So the kids who wouldn't take my test, the quote unquote, I don't want to say bad kids, the disruptive children, they took the test and got a like a C. I don't think I got any D's in the course. They got like a C. The kids who wouldn't take the test. The kids who got C's got B's, and the kids who got B's got A's. So that's where my philosophy about if everybody's failing, the majority of kids failing, it's the teacher's fault. And so all that means is you have to change up your technique. Now, I know teachers are underpaid and overworked. I get that. I gotta be honest with you. Every day after class, I was emotionally exhausted. I'm not being hyperbolic or anything. I've only felt that kind of experience twice in my life. Both of them have to do with children. After my class, I literally couldn't drive home. I had to sit down someplace for about half an hour and just rest. And I've never experienced that before until later on when you know I was separated from my children, and then when I seen them, it was such a rush, and then after they were gone, that's when I felt that kind of a thing. But the point I'm trying to make is that it takes a very special person to teach. A very special person. you really have to love children. And I have a belief that you should teach children that you can identify with. So if you're going to school and you see these children as a threat, you see these children are from a different part of the city, or they're different, then I don't think you should teach them. I really don't. Now, the people who will get offended at this is probably the problem. These are the ones that call the principal on the kid immediately instead of trying to sit down and figure out, okay, how can I change my approach? How come I'm not reaching this kid? I'll tell you one more story now that I'm thinking about it. This one particular young man, very disruptive, very disruptive. Silly, everything was a joke, flirting with the girls. You know, I get it. Young boys do that. And because I have a son, you know, who's also African-American, I hate that, look like me. It's like adults talking baby talk. I have an African-American son, a black son. I can relate to the boy. I don't see him as a threat. I'm not scared of the kid, you know, that kind of a thing. Anyway, so he was disruptive. Now, this is going off pure instinct. And again, because I'm connected with the children, I'm from where they're from, there's a certain kind of, I don't know what the word is. I want to say simpatico, but that might not be the word. I'll look it up and I'll put it here in the post-production. But anywho, so I'm teaching. And this is the kid who wouldn't take my test. And then I did the rap thing, had everybody memorize it. And then he scored like a C on my test. Before, he was just getting nothing, like, because he, you know, we did E's back then, A, B, C, D, and E. He was getting E's because he wouldn't take the test. All right. I'm teaching. He's being disruptive. So I'm frustrated. And so I do something different because I want to get their attention. And everybody can't do this. So I take the chalk and then I start writing, and then I slam my fist on the chalkboard, boom, to get the people's attention. Everyone's like, like that. Now, everybody can't do this, because if you do a malice in your heart, you're not the one. You shouldn't be teaching. Everybody's quiet. And I said, I don't know the boy's name, so I just say Malcolm. I said, Malcolm? He was like, now he just assumed that he's going to get sent to the principal. They're going to call his people, whatever. I found out later his mom was on drugs. He's raised by his grandma, who's retired and everything, and she can't handle him, and there's no father. So I get it. I understand. This boy, when you find children like this, it's like if you ever watched the Westerns, they had the stagecoach. It's like horses running a stagecoach with no driver. That's what children are in general. And when you don't have that lap time, which I mentioned earlier, it's doubly so. So anyway, bam, slam the thing. Malcolm, come here. So he comes up to me all scared and everything, whatever. Because you know, this is elementary school, middle school, or whatever. And I say, hold out your hand. So he just assumed I was going to smack his hand or something, whatever. I took my chalk and I placed it in his hand. And I went and sat down on a stool. And I said, teach my class. Here's the brilliant thing. I have a way of trying to make the class interesting by pointing to the left side of the room and calling a kid by name on the right side. So I would say, like, Jenny's over here and Sally's over here. So I point to Jenny and I would say, Sally, what's the capital of Mississippi? And she would tell me. And I would say, Jenny. I would point over here to Jenny and say, Sally, what's the capital of Florida? And she would say, Tallahassee, whatever. And so I had little quirky things I did to make this boring stuff I'm teaching more interesting. Don't you know this kid did exactly that? Not only did he do exactly that, he knew the lesson. He knew the fucking lesson. This was the most disruptive kid in my class, and he failed all my tests until I started doing the rap shit or whatever. So what I'm trying to tell you is that without a teacher who can relate to this boy, the potential and the opportunity to learn and to become a better human being is going to be lost to him. And I know that the school system is set up to bring a lot of these teachers from outside the neighborhood in and not recruit teach. I realize that. And for whoever's listening, if it connects with one person, that's fine. If you that teacher, you part of the problem. And you can't change that. That takes years of deprogramming. You can't change it. You're not doing the kid a favor by learning the new dance and dancing with him on fucking Instagram. I really think the school system needs to change. It don't take 12 years to learn how to read, write, and arithmetic. It don't take 12 years to do that. You can do that in the fucking summer. Maybe 4 summers. Maybe a year. All that shit they teach us, everything else should be something on the level of a trade school so that when they graduate, they can actually take care of themselves. That's another thing. I was supposed to be talking about this book. Can I tell you something? If you don't get it by now, I really love children. And I think parenthood is very important. I think parenthood is a privilege. And not everybody's cut out to be a parent. Some people are cut out to be that cool auntie or that cool uncle. You know what I mean? Some people are cut out that way. And not everybody's cut out to be a teacher. You know, not everybody's cut out to be a teacher. Anyway, I went very far afield of reviewing this book. I bought both of these from Greg, who's the writer. And, of course, I bought the singles, and I bought this one. So I'm showing you that I'm recommending these books. And not only that one, if I go back to the S's, where is that little girl? Of course, you know, when I'm looking for it, I can't find it. But basically, Burnham, he wrote another one called Search for Sequoia. Sakita, which is another one. But I recommend it to teens because it's talking about a little girl escaping the terrorism that destroyed Black Wall Street. So, of course, I can't find it right now because I don't prepare properly. But anyway, so I'm definitely recommending you guys buy these books. I'll review this one later. And, yeah, just think about what I said. I'm not trying to say any people are bad or whatever. I'm just saying, you know, if I were to teach, I'd probably do better in, you know, in the city of Philadelphia than in Appalachia or, you know, some other place like that kind of a thing. So the illustration is nice. The rhyming is fun. And they show the mom and the dad, which is very important. And most of all, they show the kid kind of thinking his way through the problem. He's recognizing what the problem is. He's analyzing his options and what the consequences, the possible consequences of those options can be. And then, of course, at the end of the book, which I'm not going to show you because I want you to buy it, you go here to buy it. He analyzes the consequences, and then he comes to the right conclusion at the end. So remember I told you how Miss Warren would read to us? When I say read, I'm talking 3rd grade. I still remember to this day. Isn't this amazing? So we're talking 50 years ago. No, that's not true. Because in 3rd grade, how old are you? Like 8? I'll just say around about 40-some years ago. I still remember, you know, She's sitting to us on Fridays and reading to us from A Wrinkle in Time. So I would suggest parents, uncles, teachers, get these books and these too. And sit your kids down and read to them. It'll be a very, very special time. It'll allow the children to kind of, you know, listen to your voice. And if you give a damn about them, feel the love that you have for them in your voice. And, you know, it'll be a very special time, something that they will not forget. All right. This is Jonathan Soul, ranting about how much resources the children really need and how much time and attention they need to grow up to be, you know, you want to raise your kids so they can come through 2020 without killing themselves or something. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people are. 2020 has been a hell of a year. And not everybody made it. Some people got caught up with the COVID. Some people got depressed because they lost their job, or they just couldn't take staying in the house for months at a time. Some people had nervous breakdowns. It's a lot of shit that went on in 2020 that nobody saw coming. But we're here. We just about survived it. Thank the ancestors or whoever you thank. And but you want to raise children up with the emotional resources and the intellectual resources to survive years like 2020. And you don't do that with PlayStation 5s. You do that with sitting down with them, spending time with them, listening to them talk, interacting with them, and reading to them. Sharing these very special moments like reading Broken Glass by Greg Burnham. You see how I did that? You see how, So yeah, so definitely get these books. And these books are a perfect opportunity for you to sit down and spend quality time with the kids in your life, all right? Love you guys. Hope all our dreams come true. John the Soul, johnthesoul.com for more comic book reviews and my podcast, which I'll start doing again. All right. Love you guys. Peace.